All right, welcome. We are going to be doing an hour-long Pilates class. So all you're gonna need for this class is a set of dumbbells, if you have them, pretty light. Otherwise, water bottles work really great. Can of soup, anything like that. You can also do it without as well. Just kind of decide what makes the most sense for you. I'm Sarah B. Welcome to Pilates. So in Pilates today, we are going to be hitting several different things. We're going to start with our warm-up, obviously. We're going to go right into our glutes and quads. Then we're going to go straight into core, then into upper body, then finally into, sorry, I'm forgetting. Then we're going to go into our, I should just look at my paper. That would be a lot easier. Core, then we're gonna go into our sideline series, sideline series into core, and then a plank series, which is nice and short, followed by some stretching. So all you need, little hand weights, maybe a yoga mat, so you're not laying just directly on the floor. But let's get started. All right, we're gonna actually, for those of you who have been taking my class for a while, we're gonna start standing. We don't need our weights to start. I'm setting them off to the side. So first thing we're gonna do is some standing deep breaths here. So big inhale, letting the air expand through our rib cage. On the exhale, feeling as though your rib cage is coming in towards the midline. One more big deep breath here. Feeling that rib cage expand. On the exhale, feeling as though that rib cage is coming, knitting in towards itself. Next, we're gonna come into some squats. So in Pilates, we talk about alignment a lot. So we wanna tuck that tailbone into neutral. So there's a slight bend in our back. We don't want totally flat in the posterior toe, but a slight arch in the back as we start to load our glutes. And then bend those knees, squatting down. And we're gonna lift it up, big side bend. Good. Little squat here. Big side bend. Beautiful. And squat. And side bend. And squat. Side bend. Beautiful. Got a couple more of these. We're going to do 4 each way. And squat. Big side stretch. Reach up and over. You don't have to get super low into these squats as we're warming up. You decide how low you feel comfortable going. And then reaching it up and over. Beautiful. Now I'm turning to the side, but you can still face me. I just want to make sure you can see my legs. We're going to come into some lunges next. So you're going to drop down into that lunge position. You should feel a big stretch to the front of the leg. From here, we're just going to twist towards that front leg. Big twist here. And then back to center. And big twist. Exhale on that twist. Back to center. Inhale. And exhale, twist. Back to center. Inhale. One more here. Big exhale. And back to center. Beautiful. Coming all the way back up. And then switching that leg back. And we're going to lower it down into that lunge again. We're going to take those arms out to the side. And we're going to just give it a big twist open here. Back to the center. And twist. And back to center. Remembering that breath here. So we're drawing that navel in towards the spine. Big exhale on that twist. Big inhale back to center. Feeling that big stretch to the front of the leg. And then exhale, loading that front glute. And coming back all the way back up to standing. We're going to come to a little bit of a forward fold. And from here, just give your neck a little shake. Maybe that's a yes. Maybe that's a no. Maybe it's just a little circle. Just kind of loosen up those neck muscles. Beautiful. All we're going to do, I came to the top of my mat as I turn, so I'm going to step back, but maybe you're going to walk your hands back. Walk your hands back into that forward fold. Give me one more here, shoulder rolls. And then walk it back down. You're going to walk yourself out to the top of your mat. You can drop to your knees here. And we're going to come to all fours in that quadruped position. From here, you guys are doing so good. We're going to start doing some cat-cow. So big stretch. You should feel your pelvis tucking under as you make a big stretch through the spine. Big stretch like a cat after taking a long nap. And then pushing that chest forward, feeling as though the butt starts to stick up in the air. And then big long cat stretch. Blowing the air out of your lungs. As you can see, my belly's compressed. It's a great time to blow the air out. And then inhale as our chest gets nice and long. I'm pushing away. I should feel like a big arch in my back. And with inhale, exhale, sorry, for that stretch. Inhale back to center. All right, I'm going to face you now. Here we're going to do some just kneeling pelvic tilt. So maybe actually I'll start sideways for you. All we're doing here is we're here in an anterior pelvic tilt, and then we're coming all the way to a posterior tilt. So just working that pelvis forward and back, here to here. Notice how the curve in my back switches and tucking that tailbone under. Just a few more here. Start to get those glutes involved as well. So you're warming up that glute as well as that transverse abdominis here, and just tucking that pelvis under. Beautiful. Just a couple more seconds here. Good. So we're going to go next into our lower body. So we're going to be working glutes and hamstrings, maybe a little bit of quad as well, but our primary focus is going to primarily be glutes here, okay? So come into all fours here. We're going to start with some leg extensions. We're going to start, this is my right leg, so go ahead and put your right leg straight back. While you're in this position, think about zipping everything up towards the spine, driving this left knee into the ground until you start to feel that your glute is engaged and turn on. If I were to put a teacup on your back, as you start moving, I don't want to see that teacup falling and sloshing around, keeping that back nice and flat. You're going to engage from right here. Start lifting that leg up for 8. Pointing that toe if you can. 7. Notice here how I'm not lifting crazy high. So sometimes people think they should do this to get that leg higher. We actually want to keep that neutral spine throughout. And we've got 6. And 5. 4. Keeping that neutral spine, pulling that belly up away from the floor. 3. And 2. And I'm going to go ahead and hold it here for a count of 8. 7, 6. Sorry, my watch is talking to me. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to put a little motion here. So a little lift and lowers, okay? So notice here how I'm not bouncing. I'm keeping that level stacked pelvis. I'm keeping my back nice and flat. I'm engaging my glute here. And this glute isn't rocking off to the side. I'm staying nice and static here. And release. We're going to come into that L lift next. So see how my back leg is making a little L shape? Same leg. We're going to just start to lift and lower. So watch here that you don't lose that belly control. So you're still zipped up towards your spine. As you lift that leg up, you should feel this glute here squeezing up as you lift. For 4, 3, for 2, for 1, hold in here, and we're gonna hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, pull that belly in, 4, 3, 2, 1, those little lifts again. We brought them back, we liked them so much the first time, we thought we'd add them in again. Little lifts for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, hold that leg up, we're gonna just extend and bend. For 7, and 6, you should feel a little bit of hamstring in this one. 6, bringing that leg straight and back. Still watching that back. We don't want any arching in the spine. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. We're almost done with that leg, but we're going to cross the leg over now. So that right leg crosses over the left. And then we're going to lift it up and over, back to the other side. Another option option, if that's too challenging, is to just drag that foot side to side. But if you can, lifting it up and over. Now watching that when we lift up, we're not arching the back. So keeping that back nice and flat. All the movement is coming straight from the glutes, okay? Lifting up and over. Beautiful. Now, a lot of times people get really in a hurry on this one. Slow it down. Keep it nice and controlled. The name of the game here is slow and controlled, okay? We're not speeding through it. For 4, slow it down. I just know you're going fast, so slow it down. 3. Why do I know? Because my instinct is to go faster too. And 2. Woo! Last one. We're going to finish this leg out. Little leg lifts here for 8, 7, 6, and 5. Pull that belly in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead if you need to. Give that glute a little smack. Release any tension you may have built up. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're going to switch over to the other side now. So if you need to, take a few seconds, release your wrists, maybe even give them a little bit of a stretch. That's an option. That's great. If you do find yourself like this is too much wrist flexion, you can always find yourself down here on your elbows. Just make sure that in this position, you're more inclined, I would say, to arch the back. So if you're here, just making sure that tailbone stays tucked under so that we're not lifting with our back when we're lifting with our glutes. So again, option to come here, option to stay up. Other leg extends. We're going to start with those leg extensions again. From here, belly is pulled up. This glute is on because I'm driving that right knee into the floor. We're going to start with those leg extensions, pointing that toe if you can, and lifting it up. We don't want engagement right here. We want to keep that in the glute for 7 and 6. Beautiful. 5 and 4, 3 and 2, 1. We're going to hold that leg up for me here for 8 and 7, 6. Pull that belly in. Trying to get a straight long line in that neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, checking in with that core as we add a little lift here. So it's not a bounce. It's just a little lift and lower. Still feeling the bulk of it right through here in that glute max. Not up here in the erectors. You want to keep it out of the back and into the glute. 2, 1. Good. We're going to come into that L lift. If you need a little quick respite, you can take it. Otherwise, meet me right here. Again, we're still driving to the floor. And then we're going to start to lift that leg up. Watching that we're not overextending and arching the back. We want to keep it all in the glute here. For 5. If you're ever wondering and you have the balance, you can just go ahead and feel. Do I feel movement right here? Does this feel hard? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up. Come to that top range of motion where that glute is fully contracting. We're holding it in, we're squeezing the belly up. And we've got 2, 1. We're going to do little lifts and lowers again. If this side feels harder, it is. This side was already working on the other leg. That's why it feels like so much. For 3, for 2, for 1. Beautiful. We're going to cross that left leg over the right this time. From here, we're going to lift that leg up and over. And up and over. Now, if that's too big, you can make it a little bit smaller. You actually may feel this one more in the standing leg. And up and over. If you're a little bit more advanced, you can lift that leg up a little bit higher. If you're still feeling like it's too hard, try dragging that foot along the floor and just drawing like a little rainbow in the ground. I call this one the rainbow. I don't know if that's its true name or not. I think it might be. But that's what I call it because it looks like I'm drawing little rainbows. Who isn't happy drawing rainbows, right? I know you're thinking, not me, because these rainbows really hurt my butt. That's okay. Fight through it. Remember, these rainbows aren't going to break your butt. You're gonna make it stronger. Keep going. 2. Last one, okay? Last blowout here. We got that straight leg. We're lying straight up. We're not leaning off to the side. And it's a lift for 8. 7. Keep that pelvis tucked. 6. We don't want it up here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Take a second here. Roll out your wrists. I'm grabbing a drink of water. Maybe you do the same. What are we at for time on here? It does not say. Shoot. Okay. I was supposed to be timing this and I failed at that, but that's okay. We'll make it work. All right, so we're actually going to switch gears here. We're going into core next. It'll be about 10 minutes of core. We're going to be on our back in that hook lying position where your knees are bent. From here, we're going to go just a little bit of a warm-up for that transverse abdominis. I know what you're thinking. We've already been using, but let's warm it up again. So I want you to imagine here you're pulling, you're zipping your core up towards your chest. You're drawing that belly button down towards the floor. If you were to push right inside that hip bone of yours, that muscle should feel hard. And then release. And then pull that on. And then release. Good. Do a couple more like that. And from here, we're going to add a little crunch. So option would be here to have your hands behind your head for the crunch. Pull that belly on. And then we're going to crunch it up for 4. Slowly lowering it down. We're not going to lose this at all. For 3. Now imagine underneath my back, I put a blueberry there. And I said, touch the blueberry, but don't squish it, okay? 1 more little crunch here. Good. Hold that crunch for me. Keeping that up, pulling that belly down. I don't want to see me doming up. We want to pull the belly towards the floor. And then we're going to start to straighten that leg out. And then straighten the other leg out. And then start bringing that right leg back in. And then left leg back in. And right. And left. And right. And left. So this should all feel like it's coming from right here. And back in. We've got 1 more like this, keeping that little contraction in the upper abdominals and keeping that lower abdominal. That's what's doing the movement here. And pulling it back in. Now we're going to lower ourselves down for a second. We're going to straighten out that left leg. And we're going to bring our right leg up into tabletop. So from here, we're just going to first practice pulling that abdominal back into the floor. So sometimes when they lift that leg up, we'll get that arch again, but try to pull that back down to the floor. You want to use those hands for support, you can. We're going to crunch that up for 2. Crunch. And back down. 1 more little crunch here. And then from here, little pulsing crunches for 6. And 5. Keep pulling that belly down. 3. And 2. And 1. Hold that crunch. Bring your arms by your side if you can. Good. And then we're going to bring that leg out of table, all the way down if you can, and then back up to tabletop. If you feel your back lifting up, maybe you just come to here, or maybe you just leave it in tabletop and just drive forward a couple inches. For 3. For 2. Maybe go a little lower. And for 1, bringing it back up. Hands are by your side here, and we're going to do those little crunch pulses, tucking that chin. Imagine you're holding onto a little apricot. For 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sorry, my cat has joined the conversation. And we're going to slowly lower that head down, slowly stretch that leg back down. We're going to come back into that part where we had our legs both bent here. And we're going to just start here with that little crunch we started with. We're pulling the belly down from the floor, and then we're going to crunch it up. And from here, I want you to know that the crunch is coming from here. We're not pulling the neck up. We're lifting from that muscle right underneath that rib cage, okay? We're still pulling the belly down towards the floor. So as we're gonna start adding that pressure, we're holding up, we're tucking that chin so that we're not tensing the back of the neck. And then keeping your hands here just for support of the neck. And you're gonna march the left leg this time forward. Straighten, and straighten, and bend. And then if that's too extreme, you could just come halfway and come back in. For some, that might be too intense. Another option is just to glide the feet and then slowly glide them back in if that lift up is too much. We've got one more here. Stepping it out or gliding out and in and in. Good. We're going to come down for a second. This time bringing that left leg up into tabletop. Right leg is going to straighten out. And we're going to start, arms are by our side, tucking that chin, lifting here for 2 crunches, and then we're going to hold it here. Maybe I'm back to supporting the neck. Maybe I'm leaving my arms out as I straighten the leg down, and then lift it back up. Again, remembering I have the option to maybe just drop the leg bent or not go quite as low. If you feel confident in your abilities, you can go down a little bit lower. Good. 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. We're going to leave that leg up in tabletop. Maybe bringing the arms behind again, pulling down. I can feel myself doming. And crunch for 8, for 7, 6, and 5. Great job for 4, 3, for 2, 1. And then we're going to slowly lower ourselves down. We're going to come into dead bug next. This is where those weights will come in handy. If I can find them. There they are. So again, you don't need weights for this. You can obviously just do this body weight. They're just going to give you a little bit extra. So I'm zipping that belly up again. I'm not imprinting on the floor if you can help it. There's still a little bit of hover above the ground, but I am touching it, okay? So all we're going to do from here, keep the belly on, so I'm engaging underneath my rib cage and my lower abdominals. I'm pulling everything towards the floor, and I'm just going to reach my arms up and come back down. For 4, for 3, for 2, and this last one, you're going to hold it up here. So now you might be thinking, what is this even doing? This is working your serratus anterior. It's a muscle that kind of looks like a serrated edge, hence the name. It's very important for your shoulder health and even some of this core control. So now we're going to hold that up here, and we're going to bring those legs up into tabletop if you're comfortable with that. If you want to just do the arms, you can. From here, we're going to start to slowly lower left leg down. We're still lifting those arms up. And we've got 4 on each side here as we drop the legs. And lower. And drop. And lift. And I want you to exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. We're almost there. Exhale. And inhale. We've got 2 more each side. Good. 1 more each side. Keeping those arms up. We're still working that serratus. And then last one here. We're going to come into a full dead bug next. If you want, you can stay with just the leg drops. And you don't have to go as low. But we're going to start here, reaching overhead. And then coming back in together. Big long stretch here. And then bringing it back together. And extend. I'm exhaling here because this is the harder part. And then I'm inhaling as I come back in. I apologize, my cat is just all over me right now. He likes to eat my hair. And extend. Inhale, bring it back in. Exhale as you really load those core muscles. And then inhale to bring it back in. Now, if you feel like your low back is maybe lifting off the floor, I'm going to show you a modification. You don't want your back muscles on right here, so if that's happening, maybe you just come a couple inches forward and you don't drop your leg quite as far. Beautiful, we're almost there. And extend. We've got one more on each side, you're almost there. You know, it feels like we've been here forever, but I promise it hasn't been that long. One more. Beautiful. Now Winston, I need to see my notes, you silly goose. Come on here. We're going to a single leg stretch next. We're going to start off with 8 regular, and then we're going to go into straight. So tucking that chin, finding that little apricot or whatever it is that you want to imagine between your chin. One leg is straight, one leg is bent. You're going to give it a double pull, pulling the belt towards the floor. Inhale to switch. Inhale. Inhale. We've got 3 and 4 and 5. We're going to 8. I don't know why I didn't count down. And 6. Pull that belly down. 7. And we've got 8. We're going to come into that straight leg. At any time, you can take that hand behind the head and just don't worry about the arm pulling quite as much, okay? If you can control the neck and it doesn't feel overwhelming, feel free to join me here. You can also pop a pillow up behind your head. Remember that little exhale, exhale. Slow switching here. For 4, for 3, for 2, last 1. Hug those knees, release that neck. Go ahead and rock side to side gently here. Maybe rock that head side to side. Beautiful. Release any tension you may have built up throughout that movement. We're going to go into the crisscross next. So my legs are going to start in tabletop, and I'm going to interlace my hands behind my head. From here, I'm going to just start to build this one up. So first thing we're going to do is bring the elbow to the knee. And I'm bringing my other elbow as close to the floor as I can get it, coming back to center. And then we're going to come across and back to center. We've already been practicing the legs, so now I'm going to extend left leg, bring that left elbow to the right knee, and then coming back, resetting my spine. Give me a little bit of a hold here, and then back to center. And a little twist, and back to center. We've got 2 more like this. Twist and hold, back to center. Twist and hold, back to center. Now you control how low that leg drops. You could keep that leg up pretty high if you feel your back turning on. So we're going to come last one here, and on this next one, as I rotate over towards my right knee, I'm going to hold it here for 8, for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to center. We're going the other direction for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, again, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to come back to that first one. We're going to hold it here and a little switch here, switching the elbows and switching the elbows. We've got 4 like this. For 2. Last one. Switch those legs, extend, rotate, and switch directions. For 3. For 2, pull the belly down. Last one. Hug those knees. That was it for our core section. We're going to move on to upper body. Oh, I lied. We have a little bit of core left. I'm so sorry for getting your hopes up. We're gonna start with our feet flat on the floor. I want you to give me a little crunch here. You're crunching up. And then when you come down, place your hands by your side. And you're gonna go ahead, give me a little mini lift here. So let's keep our hands by our side if we can. But like I showed the first time, you can have your hands behind your head for support. And then a little crunch up. We're gonna do 8 of these. So 6. And lift. And 5. Tuck that chin. We don't want to be lifting from the neck. And 4. And 3. Great job. And 2. Last one here. Let's make it good. Pull the belly down and in. And then last little baby lift. And release. Give me a little big long stretch here. Stretch the arms and feet away from each other. Big inhale, expanding through the rib cage, expanding through the belly, expanding through the back. And then go ahead, release. We're going to come up into a kneeling position next. So again, soup cans, water bottles, whatever you can find, just find something that can give you a little bit of resistance. Again, if that's not something you can do, feel free to use just body weight. You'll still feel a burn, okay? We're gonna start here in a kneeling position. All we're gonna do, I know I said upper body, but we're gonna practice the lower part first. So I'm gonna turn to the side actually. So we're gonna do a little bit of a deadlift first. So I want you to hinge forward, like you're putting your butt out and your knees, hands on your knees, and your back should look totally flat. So if there's an arch here, I want you to think about tucking under so you're in neutral. So pulling that belly in. And then we're going to thrust, like if we had a bar here, we're just thrusting at the bar, okay? But a little slower than that. So from here, and then tuck the tailbone under. Kind of like those kneeling pelvic tilts we did earlier. Feel how your glutes jump out. If you're feeling this in your back, start initiating the movement from your glutes. I'm going to turn back to facing you because I've been facing away the whole time on the floor. From here, we're going to start with shoulders and triceps. We're going to come into a front raise with that deadlift first, okay? So as I hinge back, my arms start to lift up. And then as I come forward, I'm tucking my tailbone under as I'm lowering my hands to my legs. So lifting up again for 7. And then tucking that tailbone under. Beautiful. Now, if you have any shoulder restrictions, feel free to maybe do this with body weight and just use your weights for like triceps and bicep back type stuff, okay? And tuck it under. Good. We got 5. Big exhale on that squeeze for me. And 4. Good. And 3. Tuck it under. And 2. Last one. Good. We're going to come to just neutral kneeling. If that bothers your knees, feel free to come to standing. We're going to have our hands up overhead. We're just going to press a sagittal plane press. So just lifting straight up. For 6. And 5. And 4, giving those glutes a little rest. Pull the belly in though it doesn't get a break. And 1, beautiful. We're gonna hinge back forward. We're just gonna hold that deadlift. So your butt should feel like it's doing a bunch of work right now. And then you're gonna just kick those elbows back. I'll turn to the side here. Straight arm, bent arm. Now I always have to remind myself not to hyperextend my elbows. It's just something I am cursed with. Most people don't even have to think about it. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, hold and lift. I want you to come to your highest range that you can reasonably hold and hold for 8, 7, load into those glutes, 6, 5, pull the belly in, 4, 3, 2, 1, little baby lift here for 8, and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it up. We're going to come into tray rotators. Again, we're not going to be hinging on this one. Just a normal kneeling position, rolling those shoulder blades back. And we've got, I call them tray rotators. Imagine you're holding a tray of food and you're rotating the tray out to your side. For 8, think about your shoulder blades. Imagine they're coming together to kiss. For 6, beautiful. For 5, pull that belly in though. Your shoulder blades, they should be coming together. 4, do you see that, how they're coming together? 3. For 2, some of you might have limited shoulder mobility. This is a good way to open it back up. 2. I hope I didn't get off count, but that's okay if I did. You just get bonus ones then. And then this last one, we're gonna hold it here. So imagine it's almost like you're sticking your chest out a little bit because you're protracted. It's just a fancy word for saying that, or you're retracted, I'm sorry. A fancy way of saying your shoulder blades are coming together. For 3, and 2, and 1. We're gonna bring that to a W extend, so you're still back here retracted, and then I want you to lift it out to straight. Come back. We're still retracting those shoulder blades a bit, and press it out. And bring it back in, and press it back out. And in, and back out. Add that deadlift if you want. Press it out. Little deadlift. Little press. We've got 4 more. For 4. For 3. For 2. Last one. Hold it up. So I want you to come to that little posterior tuck so your glutes are way on. Your arms are out to the side, and we're rotating the tray. For 7. For 6, just palms up, palms down. 4. 3. For 2. For 1, we're gonna bring those W's into the side. So we're still kind of out to the side, maybe even giving yourself a slight shoulder retraction, and we're gonna curl it in. For 8, for 7, for 6, 5, and 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna hold it right here. So find that contraction in your bicep. If you want a little bit more shoulder, you can come out of your W, make your wide W, and hold it here for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then if you're out here or in here, that's up to you. We've got a full to a half, and full to half. For 6. Ooh, my butt is shaking. And 5. Ooh. Come to that tuck so your butt can shake too. For 3, you're doing so good. And 2. Last one, beautiful. We're gonna come onto our sit bones next. I call this a C-sit. So on your sit bones, should kind of almost feel a little weird because you're sitting like right on that tailbone. But I got a lot of cushion there, so I don't really feel it. We're gonna start with a chest fly. So option would be here to stay with knees bent. You can also come to straight leg. I will likely come to that, but option would be to stay right here. I'm gonna have you drop your weights for just a second. Go ahead and give your legs a little bit of a squeeze here. Round your back a little bit so you've got a little C curve in your spine. And I want you to feel how your core engages as you pull. Now keep that in your mind. As you pick those weights up, you can give it a little tug if your weights are small enough to let you reach your legs. And then scoot yourself back, maintaining that curl. We're gonna start with those arms straight out in front of us, and we're gonna open it up for 8. Inhale, open. 7. And 6. 5. 4. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna switch it up now. Just the right arm, so that's this one here, is gonna open up. You gotta maintain that core control. So not shifting open. You want to keep that core nice and straight ahead for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center, other side for 8, 7, 6. Good. I'm going to switch my legs off. 3, 2, last one. We're going to go ahead, bring the feet together, give ourselves a little release forward, opening up those hips. Just a nice big stretch. And we'll let the belly fall. It's been working really hard for this whole class. It's been doing a lot of work. Just open it up here. Whatever feels good. If you'd rather do a forward fold, that's fine too. Good. Again, coming back to that C-sit, either with legs straight or legs bent. I'll start in legs bent. We're going to pull the belly in. See how I did that? Pull it in and then round it back. We're going to bring those arms. I want you to squeeze your weights together. You should feel your chest start to engage. Keep pushing the weights together as you lift the weights up for 8, for 7, for 6, slow it down, for 5, and 4, 3, good job, 2, 1, lift and hold for 8, 7, pull the belly in, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, shake those arms out a little bit, and then flip onto your belly. Now the weights we're going to use for this next one, they need to be really light. The first move requires 0 weight, so we're just going to lay on our bellies, and I want your arms extended out in front. From here, anytime you're on your belly, you're going to want to let it go. You're going to pull the belly up away from the floor, and then you're going to lift those arms up off the mat. You should feel your back engaging. And then you're going to rotate your hands all the way around. Now the tops of your hands are going to tap between the shoulder blades. And then you're going to come all the way back around. And all the way back. And all the way around. We're just doing 4 of these. So 2 more. And all the way back. Last one. Good. And then we're going to pick those weights up. And we're going to come wide here, like we're making a T out of our body. Our neck is looking straight down at the mat. I might look at you just because I'm teaching, but you look down. And we're going to think about lifting those shoulder blades, using those shoulder blades to lift the arms up and down. Pulling that belly again away from the floor. I know how easy it is. Maybe squeezing those glutes and quads a little bit to anchor yourself. And lift. And lift. We've got 5 more. For 5. 4. This might feel really challenging. You might have to drop your weights if you have them. And 3. 2. Last one. And then we're going to drop those weights down. Place your hands kind of just in front of your chest here, and you're going to pull the belly in, raise up your core, and then push yourself to a baby cobra. You decide how big of an extension you want, and then come all the way back down. And again, pushing it up. Good. We're going to actually push ourselves up onto our knees, and we're going to be here in a modified plank position. We're going to be doing sort of a modified push-up. So we're going to come down like a normal push-up, retracting those shoulder blades, so pull the shoulder blades together, and then push yourself back up into protraction where your shoulder blades are rounded around your rib cage. And then again, you decide how low you want to go. The goal here is actually to bring the shoulder blades together, not necessarily to do a push-up, okay? We're almost there. Retract those shoulder blades and lift it up. Again, retract the shoulder blades and lift it up. We've got 2 more like that. Retract and protract. 1 more. Retraction, protraction, pushing yourself back Maybe into a child's pose, giving that back and big long stretch here. Beautiful. All right, I don't know exactly what time I started, Nicole, so I don't even know if I'm on time or not, so I guess we'll find out. Fingers crossed that I'm not way over or way under. So I will give you the option, if you have a mini band, I'll say this in the beginning next time, you can slap that guy on around your knees or above your knees. I'm not using one today. So I'm gonna stay down today. A lot of times we stay up. Today we're gonna stay down, just resting your head in your hand. We're gonna start with just a straight line in our body. I want you to tuck your pelvis under so that your belly is pulled in. And then from here, we're gonna start to initiate a lift from right here, pointing your toe, lifting that leg up, a little pause here. Go ahead and switch your foot to flex as you slowly lower that leg back down. Go ahead, point, lifting it up, and flex, slowly lowering it down. Okay, so that was 6 is right here, slowly lowering it down. I said that in a really weird way. And 5. So where we don't want to feel this is right here in the front of our leg. We want to feel it back here in the glute medius. Point that toe up, flex the foot, slowly lower it down. We're almost there on this one. Lifting it up and flexing it all the way back down. Keep going. Nice and slow. Try not to rush through it. I know when we do hard things, we just want to get done, right? But in this one, in this case, take your time, okay? I think that's kind of in life. We should take our time more. But it's just like us to go fast, isn't it? We all do it. Slowly lower it down. This is our last one. We're going to lift it all the way up so we got that pointed toe. Again, if you're still feeling a ton here, bring your leg just a little bit behind your back so that you're in full hip extension. And you're just going to hold it here. Option to just stay in line though too. For 4, for 3, for 2, 1 little circles here. So you decide how big you want to make the circles. The bigger you make them, the harder it's going to feel. For 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, lower back down. We're going to bend the knees so your hips and your feet are in line with each other. Again, tucking that hip forward if you're someone who struggles with that bit of an anterior pelvic tilt, if you know what that is. And then we're going to come into clamshells. So all we're going to do again, initiating from back here, lifting that leg up, and then slowly lowering down. For 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it open for me here. We're going to add a little kick. So straighten out that leg and then come back in. For 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one here. Woo. Bring it back in. Lift your feet up off the floor. So now you're in an elevated clam. And again, one last one. We're just going to open it up and then close. For 8, for 7, 6, and 5, 4, 3. Pull that belly in if you haven't already. 2, 1. Hold it here. Last one here. Add that kick. Come back in, and we're going to close the clam, open it back up, and kick. We're just doing 4 of these, though. For 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead. Give yourself a little smack. Sometimes my TFL gets a little cranky and jumps in. You might want to hit that guy, too. Just kind of reminds the muscles that, hey, blood's supposed to be there in case you lost a little connection to that, which you probably did because we were there for a while, right? All right, so we're starting with that straight leg lift, okay? So everything's in the line, straight line with the body, and then I'm tucking my pelvis under. Starting with my toes pointed, lifting the leg up. Again, I'm initiating from here and not here. If you have to, you can come behind, flex that foot, and come back down. Point the toe up, flex the foot, come back down. If you notice me coming behind, it's because I am in tune with my body, and I know that right here has a tendency to pop on for me. So if that's you, feel free to bring your leg a little further behind the body so that you can hit the right muscle. We don't need to train an overactive muscle, right? We need to train the underactive muscle that seems to be escaping a lot of our workouts, okay? We're almost there. For a 3. For a 2. Last one, pull the belly in. Sometimes when I give you these cues, it's because I lost mine too. So if you lost it, that's okay. Again, you're going to see that I'm a little further behind my leg. You don't have to be. That's just where I'm holding it because that's where my leg needs it. We're holding it here. Sorry, I didn't say that initially. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Little circles, and then we get a tiny little rest before we switch positions. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Release that down. Bend those knees. So now we're in that clamshell position. And again, tucking that pelvis under. And we're going to come to that clamshell, okay? So open and close here for 8. And I want you to think about initiating the movement from right here. I actually like to give myself that tactile feedback where I put my hand in that position to see if I feel it in that spot. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here. We're going to add that kick. So extend the leg, come back in, and extend. See if you can point that toe. 6, 5, 4. It's burning pretty bad. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come to that elevated clamp. So we're lifting the feet off the ground. Again, still tucking that pelvis under, lifting up. We're going to lift and lower for 8, 7, 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Add 4 kicks here for 4, 3. Add a little clam, close and open. 2, 1. Woo! All right, give it a little smack. This side isn't as bad as TFL for me, so I'm just gonna hit my butt a little bit and remind it that blood goes there. All right, we're almost done here. We have a little plank series and then a cool down, and we're out of here. Okay. So first thing is gonna be a modified plank hold. So I'm gonna practice coming here. So a lot of people hold their planks like this. Tuck that pelvis under, come into neutral spine. If you need to, you can certainly come down to forearms. We're gonna hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Option to pop it up now into a full plank, or option to stay in that fully modified. We got 10 more seconds here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to walk our hands up into a pike position here. Leave a little crumbs on that. Stretch it out. 1 full breath here. Go ahead and walk it back down into that plank position, whether it's modified, I'll start there, or if it's a full plank. And we've got 4 dips on each side. So 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. We're going to push it back into that plank for a second. We're going to do that one more time, but this time I'm going to do it in a full plank. Again, you can come down your forearms if you need to. We're in that plank position, and we're just dropping Dropping, lifting and lowering with those obliques. Pulling the belly up away from the floor still. 4. And 1. Pushing it back to our pike one last time. Last one here. Come back into your plank, whether it's on the knees or up on the toes. And we're gonna rotate here, tapping those shoulders with our hands. Option to be in our full plank, or if you find yourself rocking around like this, I'd rather you stay down in your modified plank and use core control. So you don't get bonus points for being in a full plank if you're throwing your body around. We want to keep our body in control here, okay? Couple more seconds here. Last one. Push it back into a child's pose. Big long stretch here. Big inhale. Big exhale. Pushing back to that pike position. From here, however you want to get to a low lunge. If you're a yogi and you want to flow through it, you can. Otherwise, bringing that right foot forward, dropping that left leg down. Now for this next stretch, if you want to use a wall, a chair, whatever, feel free to go grab those now. We're going to take the arm that's not in front of the leg. So this is my left arm, this is my right leg. My left arm's going to come to the outside of my leg here, just like we did in the warm-up, and just a big twist here. Start to elongate your breathing. You can finally let that core go a little bit. Let that breath kind of back into your back rib cage. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good. All right, we're going to take that front leg. I just want you to wiggle it across your mat and come into this pigeon stretch here. Now, option would be, of course, to just stay up nice and tall, or you can come all the way forward, making sure that your knee is bent here and that you're not with it just stacked on top of each other. I've seen a lot of people do that. That's not going to hit them. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the knee more than you want. If this does bother you, you can come into the figure 4 stretch on your back. Option to come down to elbows. Kind of sink into this. Stretch out that glute that we actually worked for a good chunk of time. Yeah. Good. Big inhale. Now that you're forward folded, you should feel that breath pushing back to your back. If you didn't know what I was talking about before, you should feel it now. Go ahead, push yourself up. Go ahead and switch over to the other leg. If you want to flow through it and meet me there, you can. Otherwise, just switch the leg. We're going to just hold it here in just that forward hip flexor stretch, low lunge, whatever you want to call it. And then if you feel comfortable with this, if this doesn't take your balance off too much, you don't have something to grab a hold of, we're going to take, again, that other arm, the one that's not forward, we're going to rotate here, bring that hand to the outside of the leg, and just really stretch out that hip flexor. Try to breathe deep through this one. So we really want to try to, if this makes sense to you, release your pelvic floor, kind of like you're pushing something out down there. Release your pelvic floor while you're doing this. Release any tension you've built up, kind of push it through your belly right now, push it through your back. Some deep breaths here. So your muscles aren't going to stretch very well if we don't allow our body, our nervous system to calm down. So just try and take some deep breaths here. Beautiful. Couple more seconds. I know sometimes these stretches can feel really long, just sitting here in them, but you're doing so good and you're being so patient with yourself. Go ahead, we're going to take that front knee, wiggle it over to the other side of your mat, Come all the way down here, just feeling that nice stretch through the glutes. Option again would be to stay up nice and tall. Other option would be to just come all the way down to that big forward fold. Again, if you are in the forward fold, take a second here and practice that deep breathing while you have something pushing against your belly that's going to push the air into your back. A deep breath, maybe cough. And then breathe right back up. Big inhale. And exhale. Good. Couple more seconds here. Just take a couple more deep breaths. And exhale. Good. Go ahead and just turn yourself facing your phone, your computer, your TV, whatever you're looking at right now. And then just take your legs as wide as they'll go. And then all I want you to do here is lean forward. So for some of you, your legs may not be as wide. Some of you might be even further down than I am. Your legs may be wider than mine are. That's okay. Wherever you're at is perfect. I just want you here stretching your inner thighs. So don't worry about what it looks like in comparison to anybody else. The beautiful thing about these virtual classes is there's nobody else to compare yourself to unless you invited a friend or a family member to do this with you. So you're doing great. You've done awesome this whole hour, and I'm just super proud of you for making through it. And then go ahead and push yourself up. We're gonna shake those legs out a little bit. And then actually just come to whatever a comfortable seated position is. If you want your legs splayed wide still, you totally can. We're gonna reach up and over. Again, this is a great place for that deep breath. It's gonna push the air really into that back. If you've got a tight QL, which is one of your back muscles that likes to help out the glutes, this is a great stretch for that one. And then bringing it back up. And we're gonna go the other direction. Big side bend here. You can stay up higher than me. You can come down lower than me. The goal here, though, is to come up and over, okay? This is terrible cool-down music. I'm going to have to plan that out better next time. Just what you want, like some EDM remix for the cool-down. And come back together. We're just going to do a couple deep breaths. If you have a pillow at home, I'm just going to show you with your pillow. Go ahead, kind of ball it up a little bit. Give yourself a little hug with it. And then as you inhale, feel how the air is like forced back into your back. And then exhale. One more time, big inhale. Big exhale. You can release the pillow if you were using it. We're going to take one more inhale as we reach our arms up. Big stretch in those arms. And then that exhale, just bring your hands into your chest. So give yourself a round of applause. I know there's no one around you. You can't see everyone else clapping. But you did awesome, and I'm super proud of you. Thanks for showing up. I'll see you guys next week at 9:30 on Wednesday. New time. Don't forget that. But good to see you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Oh, yay. Nicole, you were here the whole time. I wasn't sure. My phone, you're like this tiny little word, and I have terrible vision. But I'm super excited you were still here. I'm going to close the video now, but I'll text you.